Hello roommates, it's Jelana coming at you with another design video, and tonight we are going to be working in Canva. You all know I always show you the how, but if you want the ready to print version, it's linked in my Etsy shop. You can find the link in the description box below. Now, if you're someone who loves the designing side, or you just want to see me build this from scratch so you can know how to do your own, then let's jump right in. We're going to be working on some DIY tearaway notepad sheets. I've already designed the 3 versions that we're going to be seeing tonight. So I'll be walking you through step by step how to do each page style. The first one we're jumping into has a header with a bulleted list. I am a Canva Pro member, so a lot of the design elements that I'll be using will have a crown on them, like you see right here, or we'll have a graduation cap on them like you see right here. If you are not a Canva Pro member, you may not see the same elements, but remember, this is a design and a creative space, so you can do whatever is available to you. Let's start by grabbing us a regular rectangle. I'm gonna go over to elements and type rectangle. Okay, it doesn't matter what color this pops up. What does matter is that we want our dimensions of the rectangle to be 4.25 by 5.5. I am going to click on position and go ahead and type this in. You could also drag the corners if you'd like, but I can't see the hundreds place when I do that, so I like to come over and type. So it's going to be 4.25 by 5.5. 5.5 inches. I'm going to press enter, and now I've got essentially the backing to my notepad. Here, I'm going to change the color of the backing to white, and I'm going to grab myself an outline by clicking on stroke style and changing the weight to 1. This keeps things pretty smooth and easy and not super thick, so when you use a paper cutter or scissors and you miss, it's not as noticeable. So I like to keep it at a weight of 1 and then change the color to the line color to what the header is, which is going to be this hot pink color. So now my entire notepad is outlined in hot pink. We're also going to go ahead and add guides to this notepad sheet. The guides are helpful when you print this out. It helps you line up where to cut using scissors or your paper trimmer. So on all of my printables, I will have guidelines for you. Let's go ahead and add some of those by going over to elements, and you're going to click right here where it says line, or you can type in line, and then same deal, you can grab whichever one that you would like or change the line weights. I'm going to choose this dotted line because I just think it signals to cut things. Rotate it 90 degrees. And I like for them to span the entire page as far as possible. So from top to bottom. Even if you print borderless, it'll show up. And you can leave it hot pink, but I'm going to save my ink and change it back to black. Okay. You can copy this because we're going to need a second one. So click duplicate because we need a second guideline. And we're going to drag this to the edge of our other side. And all the way to the bottom. And you can change the line weight again. Change it here. And change it here. All right, so our guides are done now. You can also use the keyboard to your keypad to move things left and right. Helpful sometimes, but I like to try to get as close to the margins as possible. All right, so we've got our backing, and now we need to grab our header. So in the same elements box, we need to grab a frame in the shape of a rectangle. Now what a frame does is it allows us to put in and drag and drop different images and backgrounds. So this is actually a repeatable template should you choose to use it for other products or other paper goods. Now is when you go to where you downloaded your images, and I'd like you to grab whichever one you like, but I'm gonna make this video look exactly as you see on screen. So I'm gonna grab this and again, drag and drop it right into the frame. Now to grab these bullet hearts, you notice that they are cohesive with the header, but they don't actually come from this background. They come from the cherry background because I wanted the color to be able to just be red already. So here again, I'm gonna use my Canva Pro Elements by clicking Edit and then going over to Magic Grab and grabbing a red heart. Click and grab. Might take a little time. And now we've got a movable heart that we can use for our bullet points. The size of bullet point is really up to you, but I think 0.2 or maybe 0.3 is as big as I would go. I think this is a little bit too big for me, to be honest, so I'm just going to keep it at 0.2. And then you can use the guides that we're going to create in just a second to help you line up where your bullets will go. But I just want to pull this to the side so that we could be done dealing with our header. This is getting a little out of whack, so I'm just going to fix that. And then keep in mind, you can change the colors of this. They come from the original image that you pulled the heart from, which had green stems on it, so that's why this green is here. You can play around with different combinations to see what you like, but I'm just going to leave it as is because it's already red. All right, so now we need to grab our font. I'm going to come over here to text, and the font that I'm using is called Baloo. I don't know if this is, no, this is not a pro font. Everyone can access this. So again, you can choose the ones with crowns. Those are your premium fonts. So I'm going to move this over, and again, the purple guidelines pop up to tell me I'm in the center of the page. And I want to change this to Little Things. I don't want to forget is in a different font. So I go back over to my text box, and this font is called Montserrat. I guess that's how you pronounce that. Just call it Monty for short. It's one of my favorite fonts because it's so cohesive. Goes with lots of different backgrounds, lots of different themes. So it's one of my favorites for body copy. All right, so we got Little Things I don't want to forget, and now we're going to build our bulleted list. This 0.2 is still looking a little big to me. I think that's better. Okay, so we need these lines. So similar to what we were doing before is we go over to Elements and we type line. They give you the keyboard shortcuts right here, or you can click on it there. And again, it already comes up red because that's the last color that we were working with. The weight is still a little thick for me, so I'm going to choose number 1. Maybe 2 for this one. Yeah, I'll go with 2 for this one. And I don't actually want it to be red. I want it to be hot pink. So there's the color code if you're interested in seeing what that looks like. And I'm going to click on hot pink. It's asking me, do I want to change everything from red to hot pink? And I'm going to say yes. And there we go. All right, so now I'm going to pull over my line. And right now it's about, let's go to position and see how long this is. This is about 2 or so inches. I'm just going to make it an even 2 inches. Oh, I'm going to make this an even 2 inches, which means I'm changing this to 9.06. All right. So now my line is 3 inches because 6.06 to 9.06 is 3 inches. So I have a 3-inch line, and I'm going to start with it in the center. In the center. It'll be easier to adjust a little bit later, but we're going to start in the center. And then from here, I'm going to duplicate and find where I would like the lowest line to be. I like to leave a little space at the bottom. So because this one over on the left is already created, show me where I can put this, but I like to kind of keep it close to the bottom. And of course, we're going to center it. So we're looking for our guides to pop back up. And there you go. Okay, from here, you're going to make as many copies as you would like of this line. You can click this 3 snowman buttons and duplicate and drag it wherever you would like. It is not important at this moment. We will fix it in just a second. So we're just going to duplicate again and pull it in here. You notice that the guides are also popping up, so you can use that as well. I'm not sure if that's a Canva Pro feature or not. I don't imagine it would be. But it may be a setting that you have to turn on. So just be mindful of that. And let's say you don't have this feature and you're just wanting to put different number of lines in here. You can duplicate again and it will start to fill in the gaps for you. Let's do one more. Oh, I think I deleted it. I did. Let's do one more. And I'm going to move it up here because I want my top line to be, let's go right there. Okay, so you can see how the lines are not evenly spaced. In order to fix that, you can click on every single line by clicking on one, holding down the shift key and clicking over here. Or you can open up your position panel, go over to layers, still hold the shift key and click them over here. It's easier to see on the layers panel sometimes. And then once all of your lines are collected, you're going to go over to arrange, and there are two options that say tidy up or space even vertically. I want to space everything vertically, and you'll see how it moves. Tidy up will get you to move things left and right, but I mean, I guess we could choose that too. See, makes it a little smoother. Now I realize this is a little bit short, so I'm going to expand all of my lines at once and make them 3.5 inches. And the W is going to go to 3.5. And then I'm going to grab all of them and move it back towards the center. I'm leaving a little space over here so that we can put our heart bullets, which we're getting ready to address right now. So when you grab your bullet motif, your heart motif, you can use the guidelines to center it, which is an option, or you can choose to put the very edge bottom of your heart on your line, which is what I would suggest. So I'm going to choose to sit there. And then to the same process, we are going to duplicate each heart and use our guides to place them in the right spot. So I'm going to duplicate. I'm duplicating 2 at a time. That's the bottom. Oh, come back over it. That's the bottom. And then I'm going to grab all 4 if I can. And that's why the layers panel is helpful. So I can find my other my other heart, duplicate, and move that there. And then looks like we need one more. And we'll set that on the top line. It's a little bit close for me, so I'm just going to move our header up just a tad. Yeah, I think that's, see, pops up. There we go. All right, from here, you can also choose your hearts again and tidy them up if you think you need to do that, or space them evenly, whichever you feel needs to happen. I'm going to click tidy up, just see what happens. Oh, that's nice. Yay. All right. So width here doesn't really matter. I just like to go till it's even on both sides. And there you go. You got one of your pages, notebook pages, done. Let's move on to the next page, which is notes and love. Again, same background. We are not doing anything different. So you can grab this header, copy it, go to the next page, and paste. Yes. And now we just need to make it 4.25 by 5.5, which I'm going to use my keypad to do. Okay. So this has now become our second page style and our backing, just like we started before. Now we need another rectangle. So again, because this is a template, you could just duplicate this backing and fill it in white, but that does not change that it's a frame. And I want to warn you about that, because if you try to move over another element, you're like, oh, this is so cute, it will automatically use it as a frame, and it becomes very tedious to kind of undo the things. So I would not suggest using a frame for this. I would suggest using a regular rectangle, which is already solid. But we do want it to be white because, again, this is a notepad. We're going to be writing. So we want that to be white. And the dimensions for this notepad for Notes in Love should be 4.5. 4.5. 4 by 5. These are whole numbers, so I'm just going to use my mouse. All right, and from here, I'm going to not center it completely because I want to leave a little bit of header because remember, this is a tearaway page. So I'm just going to bring it about maybe in 1/2 inch from the top. And then similarly, we need to go and grab some text. This is our Baloo font, Notes and Love. You can also take this opportunity to customize this page for someone and say like, Jelana's thoughts. And just make it a stationery for teachers. This would be a really nice teacher gift. Or you could write future Mrs. Rogers. Something like that. And that way you can make it customizable. I'm just going to leave it exactly as we see on screen. Well, actually, I'll change it into happy. How about love you? Long time. I'll just keep it Notes in Love. Okay, and then you'll also need to change the color of the font. So click in or on Notes in Love. This A will take you to fonts. And again, I'm working completely with the hot pink color. So that's what it'll look like for me. I also like to maximize my space and keep my dimensions correct. So because I don't want this header to go any longer than the white space, I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit and increase the space to about 35. Okay. And then drag it up to the top. Or you can leave a little space. Okay, now from here, we want solid lines. So I'm going to go back to my original lines from the last page because we are efficient. We do not have to reinvent the wheel every time. I'm going to copy that by pressing Control key on my keyboard and then pasting here and extending even longer. 3.7 looks like it would work. And then the middle. And then because, again, these are fine lines, I want to change the line weight back to 1. I think it's a little bit smoother here. Yeah. And then a little bit of space at the top for your first line. And then you can add additional lines to the bottom. And now, in a matter of minutes, you've created another notepad page. And this can just pull up a little bit and everything's nice and spaced except for this down here. So just gonna space things out evenly by clicking on position and tidy up. Perfect, works for me. And then lastly, we've got our shaded page, no bullets, no lines, just free writing. This one is super easy because all we've got to do is highlight all of our, not all of our elements, but our background, our white backing, and we don't even need the text, just the background and our white. And then on your next page, when you paste this, we do want our white backing to be centered. I'm looking for the guides. But this time, we're going to turn down the transparency so that we can see the background a little bit better and still kind of have clear writing. So I like 85. You can choose whichever, but I like 85. Okay, from here, you can go back and grab your guidelines because somehow they got missed. So I'm going to go and put those back to the edges. And you can clean things up, but after all is said and done, that's all she wrote. At the end of the day, we've got 3 complete and customizable DIY notepad pages. I hope you learned something this evening. I hope I was able to spread some new knowledge. If you found this tutorial helpful, please let me know in the comments below. And I will see you guys right here next week for another episode of Make With Me Monday. Talk to you guys later. Bye.